Hey, so in this video, I'm going to show you in more detail how to start building out your style tech packs. So here I'm in the demo account and I'm going to go into one of the initial styles I've created with some just basic info. You can see that in the style summary section over here. If you ever want to edit any of this, you just have to click this little pencil button. You can edit the quantity, the product type, the style ID, and you can click save. You can also add in more images of a style if you have, a rear view, or if you have different colors that you want to have the images included in here for. And you can also edit the name of the style at any point. Clicking enter will save that. Cool. So there's four main card areas, as we call them, within the tech pack that you can start building out. So I'm going to start with materials and show you how to add in a material into your tech pack. So if you click this little button here, you can also select this one here. It will take you to this screen, adding material. You can either create that material then and there. If you haven't got any in your library just yet, this will create the material and it will automatically save into your library. So you'll always have that record of everything you've ever used in styles, auto-saved into your library digitally. If you don't want to create it all from you, or maybe you've already built out your libraries and you just want to add it in, maybe you've used a material before, you can do that by selecting material from your library. So here we've got some examples. I'm going to select this organic cotton and add that to my style super easily. You can now see it's in there. This image that it shows is just the image when you created it. Obviously, if you have different colorways, that will be represented in this colorway area over here. But this is just an image for now. And if you wanted to replace that, you can. You have all of these other component fields that you can add in. By clicking the pencil again, you can add them in, like adding certificates for your particular fabrics, your yarn origin, fiber origin, consumption, composition, and so on. And you can click save or OK. Which will save that. So that's how you add a material. And when I click into this material card, you will then see there's a print and embroidery and the color section. So if I select add color, this will give me the opportunity to add a color or one of the colors that is associated with my style and this fabric. So here I can add in the name. For example, if I'm going to say this is like an off-white color, I'm going to add in the color code. If you know this, it might be a Pantone TCX. You can add that in directly. I'm going to make one up for a second. Like this. I can select one of these. I can also select the color using a color picker. You can kind of play around with this as much as you want. I'm going to say this is the color for now. At the moment, don't worry too much if the color's not exactly matching in this color picker, but the code, if that's correct, then that's what the manufacturer can go off. It's a kind of starting point. You have the option here also to start creating the variations. And what we mean by variations is essentially a colorway. So if I select add variation, I can say this one is going to be the off-white variation because there's only one. If I wanted to keep adding more, I could say there's also actually a black colorway, and so on and so forth. The color I then created, I then can tick box the variation to say this color is going to be associated with this particular colorway. Because you might have multiple variations, you might have multiple colors, not all of them might appear in all the variations. So that's what this means. I'm going to select yes and save. I've now got this color in here in my material. For prints and embroidery, in the same way, you can add in any prints associated with the style, and if it's a print on this material, that's where you would add it. So you can add in an image thumbnail, that might be an overview of what the print looks like. You also down here have the print artwork, which is a compulsory field, so that could be your AI file of the print. You can give it a name, which is compulsory, a type. So if it's a digital print, for example, it might be embroidery, or computer embroidery, hand embroidery, everything there. You can say whether or not it's a placement print, if it's all over. You can give it a description. In some cases, a brand might say the dimensions of the print. It's up to them. There's another place that I will show you afterwards where you can also add in things like that for your prints. It's very much up to you in your current process how you do that. And then again, much like for colors, you have the opportunity to associate the print or the embroidery with the variation. So if this doesn't appear on all variations, if you have multiple, you can only select one, but if it appears on all of them or just one, you can also select it like that. I haven't got a print on this particular style for now, but I'm going to leave that one blank. I'm going to go back to my main card. Here you'll then see the next card is called Dimensions. If I click into Dimensions, it will come up with this compulsory screen that you need to enter a photo for. That photo could be your flat drawing for the style, so it might not have color in it. If I click onto this, let's see if I have an example. of a shirt flat drawing. I'm just going to use the same one at the moment for an example. You can add in the sizing here for that style, but at the same time, if you don't want to put in the whole sizing right now, you don't have to. You could just enter one for now that you want to start with. That could be a sample size, for example. Here I'm going to select medium, and I'm going to say that medium is my sample size, and it will let me open. I can also change this inches or centimeters if that's how I do my dimensions here. This screen here is then where you'll have your dimensions table or your measurement table, your specs essentially, and they will fill down into this table below here. At the moment I have nothing there, haven't added anything, so it's blank. You can see I've only got one size in here right now. If I wanted to manually enter my points and measure and measurements for each step, I can do this manually by selecting the plus button. That will open up a row in the table where I can enter the point and measure. So I could say, the collar height, for example. I can enter the tolerance, the grading. I can enter the measurement for that particular size. I also have the opportunity to add more sizes here if I want to at this point, or I could just keep it how it is for now. I can request samples directly from here, and I'm going to show you more detail of that in the next video. I can rename the size, and I can rearrange the order if I have multiple sizes and I've maybe got them wrong. We then have this column called POM notes, where you could essentially enter any notes you might have against that point and measure. So some brands might use this for translation if their factory works in a different language, for collar height, for example, or if there's just another kind of subline that goes along with it to make it super clear. You have this pin function down here. So if you click on this, it will go yellow. You can then come up and click on the image, and you can associate where this point and measure is. Here I've done it on the collar. You can now see that the reference point is this point and measure. Some brands use this. Some might have a flat drawing where they've already done their arrows and their lettering references, so they might not use that as well. And if you don't want it, you can always remove the pin without changing anything else. That's how you then add in measurements manually. The next step I'm going to show you is how you can upload your measurements. If you already have them in an Excel or Google Sheet, for example, how to upload them in with a CSV file to save you time rather than manually entering this. And this is particularly useful if you use template styles. For example, your t-shirts typically always follow the same graded specs, and you can clone that. It'd be easy just to upload in your measurement table just the once for that particular product type, and you can use that again and again. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. And the first thing you have to do is navigate over to these little buttons over here. If you had a full table already and you wanted to download it for any reason to take out of the platform, you can say download measurements and it will copy this table out for you. If you don't yet, what you do is select this upload measurements button and it will pull up this pop out, and you have to download our template. This template is essentially what you then copy and paste your data into, and that's what the platform can read really easily to upload them in again. So if I select download your data, it will pull out a CSV file here. DC is like dimensions card. And I'm then going to show you what to do next. Great. So I'm now going to go in and open up this template in Google Sheets as an example place. So I'm going to open up Google Sheets here and I'm going to drag it in so it opens. This is now how it opens up when you open Sheets. So you can see those headings that we had in the platform. We can see there's only one size because we only entered one size, and we can see the example that I created. I'm going to delete that example for now, and I'm going to go into another sheet or an Excel I have somewhere else as an example where I've already got my graded specs that I want to copy and paste in. So here's one I prepared earlier. You can see I've got some points of measure I've already got, and I've already got some example measurements I've made up. So for small, medium and large, in this instance, we essentially want to copy over the point of measures. And because we only have medium at the moment, I'm just going to copy over the medium size dimensions. So if I come back into our template here, I now want to add in the points of measure, and I want to add in the medium, just like this. So we then have these other three columns that we need, and they can't be left blank when uploading to the platform, otherwise it won't read them. So if you don't know them just yet, you can add a 0. That's how you would do it, and you can just copy that down across all of your empty cells. And tolerance, we're going to have 1, and add that like that. This is all you then need to do, and it needs to be in this format. You can't have empty spaces. And one other thing it won't read is commas, so you'll need full stops if it's a decimal. I'm then going to download this as a CSV, comma separated value sheet, and I'm going to come back to the platform and I'm going to upload that in. Drag and drop, confirm. The reason it asks you this is it will overwrite anything already in the platform, or sorry, in the dimensions table. So that one example we had will be overwritten. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to reaffirm that medium is my sample size. And that will affirm by Bing's light blue color. You now see everything that I've entered will pull through into the platform automatically, and that's how you upload dimensions. The other tab to bring attention to in this area of the tech pack is the construction and placement card. Here you can add in multiple images or photos, essentially to draw attention to particular placements of maybe prints I mentioned earlier. You might have flat drawings with prints with dimensions and arrows on them. You might have this as a indicator of where your care labels sit, or ribs or components, but it's a good place to add in those kind of images, and you can further annotate those. So I could take a pin on here, I could say, please refer to this stitching, for example. You can keep pinning this as you go, and if you add more images, the references will record so the manufacturer knows which image you're referring to. You could have in zoomed in parts of your style flat drawings if you want to bring closer attention in detail to a specific print, for example, and so on. The next part is the components, and quite similar to materials, you have the library that you can choose from if you created them before, or you can upload them now and it will save into there again and again. So here you might say, I want to add in, let's say, these shell buttons to my shirt. They've already then added in. I can see the information, I can check that's right. If it's the same I always use, you might enter the dimension notes there. If you have colors associated, you might want to pick them out so it's super clear for the factory as well. So that's components. And then the other card at the end is really to add in any other reference images or useful information for the factory. Perhaps if you had a reference sample, you wanted to make sure they kind of got the vibe of the style correct, you can add that in here. You can add in descriptions, give it a name, anything like that. At the top of the tech pack, you then have style threads, which is where you'll keep all of your style level communication all together in one place and avoid the using of email threads and searching around. Everybody can access it at every point in time. Here you have an internal and a with factory tab. You can type in comments, use tags. If you have lots of comments over time, you might want to search the tags, for example, if it's by your name or if it's about components, for example, or dimensions, you can filter through those pretty quickly. When you're typing comments, you can decide if you want to send an email notification specifically for that comment, if it's something that really needs attention straight away, or if not, you can leave it off. And you can drag and drop any files in here as well at any point. So this is super useful for having a single place, a single source of truth, essentially, with your internal teams, but also your factory. The reason this hasn't unlocked here just yet is I haven't actually added in a factory into my account and approved them for the project that I'm working in where this style lives. So once you've done that, and I'll show in another video, this will look exactly the same as the internal side. But with your factory, you can keep communicating in there together. The last areas to kind of show you is these couple of icons. You can share this style really easily using this with a link. You can download the style, and you can also look at the live page view, which is super useful if you want to get an idea of how the factory side or manufacturer platform side will see your tech pack as one way they can view it. It will kind of open up in a continuous scroll page. So if I click into that now, we haven't added too much information for this example. You can see my list of variations here. I just have one. You can see the measurement table we uploaded together and any pinpoints on there, construction and placement. As you have more images, this adds parallel to each other, and this table references that. You can see the full details of the material added and the color coding, as well as the components. And your print would also live in here too. So it would be a bit more of a full page in an instance where you added everything. You can also download that as a PDF if you want to. So that's really how to start building out your tech packs. If you have any questions on any of this, you can use the Intercom Help Center, which lives down here, and you can also drop us a message and we will help you out.